What's going on, guys? Oh man, hope everybody's having a good night. Man, I am tired. Figured I'd hang out with you guys a little bit. Excuse me. It has been a long week already. Oy vey. Hang on one second, guys. Oh, I'm just gonna work on this a little bit. Uh, I have got to get a better light. That's one of the reasons what's up, Heather? That's one of the reasons I don't really come in here, to draw too much is I've got poor lighting on this side because the light's over there. Hope everybody's having a good evening. Hope everybody's having a good day, though. What's up? What's up? What's going on? Couple of drinks in, and my flyers are up. Oh, hockey. Ah, cool. What's up, Andrew? What's up, everybody? Yeah, I saw that, man. I'm glad you're okay. But yeah, that sucks about the accident. Hopefully, it'll kind of be their fault, and hopefully they got insurance. That's definitely one of the drawbacks to a lot of stuff today is a lot of people do not have insurance, and that really really sucks. It's amazing how many people don't in general. Oh, good, good, good. Awesome. That's good. I mean, like I said, I hate that happened, but I am definitely glad to hear that they had insurance. No, I was sitting in there just wanting to, there's not really anything on TV I want to watch. So I was kind of like, well, I really haven't went live and kind of just sketched around a little bit in a long, long, long time. This one was in there in my box. I always have some simple layout pre-dones in my backpack in there for when I'm at shows, because sometimes you'll get people that they want a commission, but what's up, Glenn? They don't know what they want, or they're only there for one day, or they're only there for part of a day, and they can't wait around for someone to do commissions, or to get on someone's commission list rather. um Now some people, they're cool with you just mailing it to them when you get back home, but a lot of fans have kind of shied away from that a little bit unless they know the artist, because a lot of artists have been abusing that. You know, they tell them, "Oh, I'll knock it out as soon as I get home, and then I'll mail it to you." And then 2 years later, they still don't have their commission. So we've seen that happen a lot. Um, over the last, well, hell, I was going to say over the last few years, but to be honest, we've seen that happen a lot over the last few decades. A lot of artists will abuse that, that thing where people are gracious enough to let you take it home and work on it, and then they screw it up. I need my eraser. Shit. I'll be right back. I need to get my eraser. Um, but yeah, so I got tired. I was sitting in there for about an hour flipping channels. Can't find a damn thing to watch because we've seen everything. So I was like, well, shit, I'm just going to go, I'm just going to work on something fun that's not on the commission list. I've been working on commissions all day today. Almost done. I think I only have 4 more and I'll be completely caught up on commissions, which I'm technically not behind on commissions, if that makes sense. I'm not behind on commissions. I'm just behind where I would like to be. I mean, technically, I'm way ahead of what what my what would be considered a normal turnaround time for busy artists. So I'm way ahead of that, but I'm not as ahead as I'd like to be. WeebCon? Oh, it's an anime con. Yeah, a lot of anime artists use digital. I mean, you're starting to see a lot of regular artists use digital too. And sadly, you're also starting to see, I need a light like right here on this damn side. Hang on one second. Let's see, do I have one that's easy to get to? No, not really. Damn it. Yeah, I don't really have a light without having to run a cord and plug a bunch of stuff in. And I'm not worried about it. That's okay. So that is annoying not to have a light on this side. If I was left-handed, it would be fine. Damn. So I don't know whether it had anything to do with my video the other day, where I was talking about artists nickel and diming fans to death, from overhyped signature prices to ridiculous remark prices for just rudimentary shit. I can't talk today. Basic ass remarks for damn inflated ass prices. So I don't know whether my video kind of irked some people. I think it's kind of funny that I did my video the other day, and then there were some artists on apparently Instagram and stuff yesterday were making videos kind of justifying why they're charging what they're charging for signatures, even though I wasn't even, talking about, people charging $10 for signatures or or hell, even, you know, $15. You know, I was kind of calling it silly to be charging all these inflated prices for all these made up colored signatures and shit. But apparently, that hurt somebody. Like I said, I don't know if it was directly because of my video, but I do know that it was kind of strange timing that the very next day from my video, somebody on Instagram, another pro artist, was making a video trying to justify people's prices for signatures. I don't know. One hell of a coincidence, if not. But anyway, I thought it was kind of funny, you know, when somebody told me about it. I was like, well, you know, one of the things I've learned is that a lot of people don't like when artists tell fans, you know, they shouldn't pay for inflated BS prices. You know, remember, like I was telling you guys about the whole concept of you know, not giving your fandom to people that can't appreciate you guys as fans. It kind of applies that same thing, you know. If they can't appreciate you, give your fandom to somebody who will. Like I said, you know, because again, you see my point though. Like, you know, we were talking about the other day, like, you know, even though I wasn't name dropping anyone, we know who we're talking about. And even though I prefaced it with, you know, I'm not talking about people charging $10 for signatures. We're talking about, you know, the people that's charging these just insane prices for signatures and bullshit remarks. Yeah, me irking someone, what the hell? Never. But I mean, you know, if it irks them, it's because they know they're doing the bullshit. Because if what I'm saying doesn't apply to you as a person or an artist or something, then it shouldn't be bothering you. I mean, if any damn thing, people should be agreeing with a lot of things that myself and other people kind of call out. You know, like I said, you know, it's about it, you know, you have to find you know, a balance between making money, because you know what we do, the travel, etc., is expensive. Paying for tables, you know, I explained all that to you guys the other day about how just one trip to MegaCon, you're, you know, $1,800 in the hole before the doors ever open. So there, you know, there is a balance, and you know, and I'll say it again, there's nothing wrong with an artist charging you $10 for a signature. There's nothing wrong with that. What's up, Jeff? What's up, Michael? Everybody. There's nothing wrong with that. That's more than reasonable. $10, $5, $10 for a signature is more than fair. You know, it's when you get into all that other silly crap of the $100 signatures, or me charging, you know, someone charging you to sign their first name versus them charging you a second fee for their last name, or them charging you $40 or $50 for some bullshit ass little W looking bat on their book, calling it a remark, when and charging you $40, $50, $60 for it. It's ridiculous. But again, on the flip side of that, you know, I love you guys, but that's y'all's fault, you know. And of course, what I'm saying doesn't apply to all of you, because some of you won't tolerate that silly shit and you won't pay the money for it. But a lot of you will. And, you know, and y'all got to stop doing it. That's when they'll stop doing that shit to you guys, when you stop paying it, you know, because I think there is a fine line between, you know, um, charging fans for things and then trying to nickel and dime fans. And not every little thing we do has to have a fee attached to it. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of it does have to have a fee attached to it. Because again, what we do is expensive. Tables and travel and et cetera, et cetera. It is expensive. And yes, I do understand the business side of it. That's a tax write-off for us at the end of the year, to offset some of our business. But it's again, it's still one of those things that it's an expensive ordeal up front. So there's definitely nothing wrong with that fee, like I've mentioned many times. Let me see if I can get this a little better. Sorry, this setup in here isn't really meant for me to record this way, so I apologize. But yeah, it's definitely there is a happy medium you have to find, because where it's expensive for us to go to these events, it's also expensive for the fans. They're paying for tickets to get in the door, they're paying for parking, they're paying for travel, they're paying for food and everything else just like we are. So they're spending money too. Yeah, that's good. Your daughter had a blast. But again, but that's another thing we're talking about, though. We do anything we can for our children, but also, again, there has to be a line in the sand that you fans have to put your foot down on. Now, you're paying $10 for a signature. Let's say we're talking about comic artists. You're talking about pro comic artists, like myself and many others that travel to these shows. You paying $10 for a signature, or even max $20 for some type of variant signature, more than reasonable. More than reasonable. You paying $100 for a damn signature from an artist is ridiculous. And that's never going to stop until y'all put your foot down and stop paying those silly ass prices, because that's silly. I'm sorry. Now, unless it's some old cat that may not be around much longer, and they're not really drawing very much, they're not doing covers, arthritis and all these other possible reasons, and you're paying $50, $60, $80 for one of their signatures, that I can kind of go, okay. If you're paying $60, $80 for Frank Miller's signature, someone who's affected the industry on that level, I get it. It's not like he's making tons of money from doing covers and things like that all the time, or commissions probably. So I get it. I completely understand. But you paying some Joe Blow that just showed up on the damn street in the last couple of years, $40, $50, $60 for a damn signature is bullshit. Sorry, I don't care who it is. It's bullshit. And you shouldn't be paying it. Like I said, I know that's going to piss some people off, and I really don't give a shit. They don't pay my bills, so I'm not concerned about what pisses them off. But like I said, again, at the end of the day, obviously, it's y'all's money. Y'all do whatever you want to with it. That's you worked for that money, you earned it, you spend it however you see fit. But I'm just saying, this stuff will never end until you guys stop buying it. Stop paying these ridiculous ass prices for remarks that look like garbage, that are rudimentary as hell, basic as hell. Stop doing it. and like I said, that will never, ever, ever, ever change until you guys quit doing it. Anyway, how's everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody's doing well. But yeah, apparently it kind of ruffled somebody's feathers. Like I said, could have been a coincidence. I highly doubt it, but it could have been a coincidence. What's up, James? What's up, everybody? Superman. Oh, those are ridiculous too, man. And so that's one of those scenarios. So look, let's be honest about something. One of the main reasons signature prices, commission prices from artists, celebrity signature prices, let's be honest, the reason they're through the roof is because of flippers and resellers. That's why they're through the roof. Artists have gotten sick and tired of doing, $100 commissions, $200 commissions, and then watching people put them on eBay and whatnot for 3 times what those people paid for. It just is what it is, and people get burned out on it, and they get that mindset. Well, hell, if they're making that much money off my stuff, why aren't I? So then the prices go up. And that will continue to happen until dumbass flippers understand the concept. There's nothing worse on this planet than flippers that don't understand how to work the market. Look, I'm going to charge. I just paid this guy $200 for a commission, and I'm going to turn around and put it on Fleabay or whatnot, and I'm going to sell it for $600, even though I paid $200 for it. If they had any damn common sense on how the market works and how business works, to where they didn't bite their own damn foot off, they would take a $200 commission and they would sell it for $250, make their money back and make a $50 profit. And most artists would not blink an eye to that. Even if they, let's say, worst case issues, they took a $200 piece of art they paid for and they sold it for $300. Again, in that scenario, most artists wouldn't bat an eye to it, and the prices would stay the same. But see, the majority of resellers and the majority of flippers lack basic business common sense 101. And that's why you see that happen. And so then the artists repeatedly will see their art selling for 3 times what they sold it for, and they get annoyed, and now their commissions jump from $200 to $600 because people are buying it for $600 on whatnot and Fleabay. So, and so until flippers kind of learn how that works and have a little restraint and common sense, it's going to stay that way. Thank you, Jim. So, and that'll never change because people, for the most part, are just, the majority of people sadly can't operate without shooting their own foot off. Like, yeah, artists are terrible about doing it. Everyone else is terrible. We're all kind of guilty of that at some point or another, where we kind of shoot our own self in the foot when it comes to business, whether it's we're too cheap or we're too expensive, or, you got to find those medium, the middle of the road scenarios to really make business prosper. And unless you come from a business mindset and you understand how that game works, you're going to make those mistakes. And that's what we see a lot of. That's one of the reasons we also see a lot of books today not holding their values because, on day one, flippers are buying all of them. And, and then they immediately take that $20, $30 exclusive they bought and they put it on, eBay and whatnot, for 2 or 3 times what they paid for it. And that's why y'all end up with these false hyped values on comics. And then 6 months later, a year later, they plummet down to, $10 buy it now prices. Because again, it's another example of resellers and flippers not understanding, comprehending how business works. Again, if they took that $30 exclusive they bought at a Comic-Con, and they sold it for $40, nobody would really have that much of a fallout later. But they don't. They buy it for 30, they sell it for 60, or they buy it for 30 and they sell it for 80. Then everybody else that missed out on it because they bought all the books, they run and buy those for 30, for 60 and 80, and then they turn around and sell them for 100. So then in the first 2 months of a book being out that has zero reasons to have value, because it's not a first appearance, it's not anything else important, you see these books skyrocket, and then everybody's scrounging to get them, and then a year later they're $10 buy it now books. Like I said, and that's not a woe is me, oh, the end is near speech. We've consistently watched that happen for 8 years. I mean, you literally can count on one hand the amount of comics that have come out, spiked in the first month, and stayed at a reasonably high value a couple years later. That's a very, very, very small window of books that has happened to. Yeah, exactly. So they buy bulk, they go into a comic shop, they buy every copy on the shelf, they go into a Comic-Con before the doors ever open for the fans. There's 150 damn flippers standing in the lines waiting to buy the damn exclusives. And sadly, a lot of those retailers and artists that have exclusives will sell it to all those people because they're scared their 1,000 print run DC book won't sell through the con, or their 3,000 print run Marvel book won't sell. So they sell it to all those flippers that borrowed badges from their friends and shit like that to get in, to get in the doors before the fans could, by getting vendor badges from other vendors and shit. And so you end up with a false narrative. You end up with a false hype price. Let me just take that down. That's a little better. So sadly, it just is what it is. And until people stop playing that game, it's going to continue to be that way. I think most people ignore my garbage over here. And then sadly, a lot of you true fans, you kind of miss out and you get robbed of those books. But again, I keep telling you guys, sit on your money, wait for 6 months or a year, and you'll be able to buy those same damn books for 10 to 20 bucks. Again, we've seen that consistently happen for 8 years. We've watched it repeatedly happen. So I don't know. I guess, I'm all about people getting paid what they're worth. Some of us work our ass off for you guys. Lots of travel, lots of covers, exclusives dropped, commission lists done in a respectful, timely manner, while other people drag shit out for multiple years to get you your shit. And most of the time you have to show your ass on social media to get what's owed to you. I've seen it happen. I don't know how many times. We've all seen it happen. People calling out artists that, haven't delivered on their stuff. Um, but like I said though, we keep trying to tell people, we keep trying to inform people, be patient. You don't have to jump out the gate right then and there. Give it a little time, and and you'll be able to get those same books for a reasonable price. But everybody's so scared. A lot of people are so scared these days they're going to miss out. And I get that. I really do. I do. But I'll let you guys in on a secret. None of these modern day books are going to have super, super, super heavy value. Very few will. I mean, hell, we see indie books outselling some of these so-called hot books. I mean, shit. We've consistently seen some indie books outsell Marvel and DC books on whatnot shows and things like that. Uh, yeah, that's because again, you saw that with Dork because it was a hype book. You had certain YouTube people who told everybody this book was going to be stupid hot. You better go get it. Oh my God, don't miss out. Oh my God, you better hurry. Oh my God, you're going to lose. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And now issue 1's coming down. And it will continue to go down because there's nothing about it that makes it memorable. It's just a simple, new book. Is what it is, That's why issue number 2 is shit. I mean, Absolute Batman, you give Absolute Batman number 1 it'll hold some value. But it'll come down tremendously. It's already come down some. And you still got people trying their damnedest to fight that, trying to re-hype it up. And you got certain comic so-and-so influencers trying to con you guys into grabbing these books. You guys got to remember something. These people that you see on YouTube that are, comic whoever, telling you these are the new hottest books, you better go get them as soon as you can. They are being paid to tell you that. So I'm telling you something right now that a lot of people won't admit to, and I'll probably catch shit for saying it. But those people, those so-called YouTubers who are telling you the hot book of the week and the hot book of the day, and oh, you better go get it. They are paid to tell you that. The creators of those books or those retailers who are you see those guys promoting those specific retailer exclusives and shit like that. They are paid to tell you that. They get a percentage of the sales that they sell as a whole. So that's why they're telling you what comic this week is hot and what comic next week is hot and all this ridiculous bullshit. And there's nothing special about the books. So like I said, now I'll catch shit for telling you that, but I'm telling you that's exactly what the issue is. They're paid. They're not telling you that out of the goodness of their heart. They're not telling you that because they're a fan of that book. They are literally percentage-based employees. If that retailer sells a bunch of those books that they told you was hot, they get a cut of it. If that if that creator sells a certain number of those particular books for their book, that hype man gets a percentage of it. So don't buy books because someone's telling you it's got value. Don't do it. Don't buy a book because someone's telling you it's hot. Buy it because you actually want to read it, and put it on your pull list at your local comic shop so you can pay face value for it. this whole money grab shit with comics is ruining comics. You know, too many people are trying to figure out how much they can sell shit for instead of reading the books. Now, if you're a flipper, obviously you're making bank, you know, you're making legit bank if you're an actual seller. You know, well, let me rephrase that. You're making bank if you sell it in the first damn week or two or first month. That's how you're making bank. If you sit on those books, which is what a lot of them will do, oh, I'll sit on these, they'll be more rare, and then people will want them later, and then I'll flip them, and then that's when you get that's when you see them plummet to, you know, $15-$20 books because they can't get rid of them at those inflated ass prices anymore. All right, let's have some fun. I was just drawing on this one for fun. It was in my backpack in there. And so let's auction this one off. Let's normally my this is bigger than a headshot. This is kind of what you would call a little bit of a torso shot. It's technically mid chest up. So it's a little bigger than a headshot, but we'll treat it kind of like as a headshot. Normally I charge around $200 for one of these plus shipping. Let's have a little fun. Let's do a little auction. We'll start the bid on this one tonight at $80. I mean, that's a huge discount. Let's see if we can get some bids on it. Because I wouldn't mind doing some of these little live things where we hang out with you guys and I just BS about stuff. And I do a little live sketching and we kind of auction it off. But now, obviously, if, you know, I can't do that very often if they're not auctioning it off for a reasonable price because I can throw it in my box and sell it at a con for, you know, $200. But now obviously you don't have to bid if you don't want to bid, but if you're interested in it, we'll start at $80. But yeah, you know, I don't know, man. Like I said, at the end of the day, you know, people can sell their stuff for whatever they want to sell it for. It's their books. They bought it. You know, whether I think it's an inflated price or not is really and truly irrelevant to a degree. You know, if they bought the book and they want to sell the book, that's their choice. You know, that's, you know, I'll never tell people what they can or can't sell their stuff for because it's yours. You can put whatever price you want on it, whether I think it's overpriced or not, doesn't matter. But I do think a lot of fans need to kind of pay attention and not necessarily get caught up in the manipulation. Because again, that little YouTube person you're listening to every week that's telling you this is the hot book of the week, you better go buy one. They're telling you that because they get a percentage of the money when it's sold. They're not telling you that out of the goodness of their heart. Okay, so stop falling for that BS. It's just it's wrong. It's really really sad that they do that to you guys because I get it. A lot of you guys see these YouTubers, these TikTokers, whomever it is. You guys see that and you think these guys, you know, give a shit about you. And they're trying to help you stay in the know and they're trying to help you not miss out on things being sold and it's just not true, guys. They don't know you, they don't give a shit about you, they have zero concerns of you. So you got to stop thinking that, okay? You got to stop thinking comic whoever gives a shit about you guys. They don't. All they give a shit about is the people they're contracted with to help sell those books, and then they get a percentage of it when it's all said and done. So please stop falling for it. Dang, nobody here likes Superman? Holy shit. That's okay. Like I said, it's quite okay. I've had like 3 sales in the last week. So and I've got another big sale coming this Friday. I'd rather y'all save your money for that big sale anyway, because we're going to be selling rare stuff. This isn't rare. I can draw Superman anytime. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, like I said, I know I'm going to probably piss somebody off with that because they don't want y'all knowing that. But yes, your little influencers are paid a percentage. Hey, what's up, Jim? Thank you, Jim. You know, your little influencers are paid a percentage to get you to buy that stuff. So you know, don't fall for that, man. Don't let them con you into that silly crap. If you want a book, man, put it on your pull. I mean, I always tell everybody anyway, look at the FOCs, you know, look at you know, the books that are coming out down the road that are, you know, because, you know, you know, we need to get back to the classic ways of collecting when you know, the main books you looked for that had value were books that were a number one. Always grab number ones, especially this day and age with comics being turned into movies and stuff like that. Always grab number ones. But you know, look at what's coming out down the road and get that number one put on your pull list at your local comic shop. You know, grab the first appearance of certain characters. Those books usually hold legit value. Um, you know, grab first appearances, grab number ones. You know, hell, grab number ones if it's you know, if it's a mainstream book or even an indie book, because this day and age, you really don't know what is about to blow up. You know, you got these, you know, YouTube's and I mean not YouTube's, you know, Hulu and Netflix and Prime and they're shopping all types of IPs for the next big hit TV show or movie. You know what I mean? So you know, grab that stuff for sure, but just tell your comic shop to put it on your put it on your pull list. That way you don't get scammed into this overpriced silliness. Because and that, you know, because that's one of the reasons I quit buying comics. I used to be in that boat a few years ago where I was buying these 30, 40, $50 exclusives on day one because I loved the artwork, these variants, and I was paying the, you know, anywhere between $40 to $60 for these damn new books, brand new number ones or brand new whatevers. And then I'm sitting here, you know, paying these prices. And then, you know, a year later, I see the same books in people's live shows being sold for 10, 15, $20. So I lost so much damn money on that shit. It's ridiculous. So that's one of the reasons I quit doing it. And then I just got patient. You know, I was like, okay, I can play this game. I'd wait 6 months or I'd wait a year until I saw it pop up in somebody's claim post or someone's live video. And, you know, then I would pay $10, $15. Hell, some of them I got yellow label slab versions for like $50. You know, I got blue label versions for $40, you know. So, you know, technically I got the book for free, you know. So, you know, again, they proved it to us day in and day out. So, you know, don't be afraid to just, you know, to just wait and you know, get it later. Um, well, Jim, I think you just won a Batman original. I mean, a Superman original sketch for 80 dang dollars, bud. Uh, plus shipping. That's a that's a damn good price. You just got a $200 commission for $80. Now them people that were here 20 minutes ago that left, because we had like 10 people in here. Now we're down to 4. I guess when they figured out I wasn't going to go on some kind of rant about people, they bounced. That's usually the way it goes. I put those little headers on there, you know, to get people in the chat. They come in, and when they realize I'm not going to go on some kind of rant fest, they kind of bounce on us. Well, they missed out on a $200 commission for $80. Congrats, Mr. Jim. Yeah, I can. Let's see. There you go, Mr. Jim. That is no problem at all. Is that camera reading backwards, or is that just on my screen? Yeah, I wish. I do wish. Like I mean, I'm glad there are flippers. I'm glad there are resellers. They've bought many of my pieces of art and resold it. They've bought many of my exclusives I've done for, Image Comics and Dynamite and Coffin and indie books. They bought many of them and resold them. It helps. They do provide a really good service. They help get our stuff, artists and stuff, in front of people that may not know who we are. So they do provide a good service. They get books to stuff and stuff to people that may not have known about that particular exclusive or that particular artist. So they do help. I don't hate flippers. I don't hate resellers. I just wish they'd be a little smarter on the business side of it. If you get a $200 commission, sell it for $250, sell it for $260, sell it for $300. Worst case scenario, if you get a $30 signed exclusive, flip it for $40 or flip it for $50. Don't flip it for $70 or $80. Because when artists and other people see that happen over and over and over, they question their own prices and then they up their prices. Now the true fans and even the flippers and resellers are now paying more for signatures. They're paying more for commissions. They're paying more for exclusives. So, so that's what I wish. I just wish there'd be a little bit more long-term thought instead of short-term, and think the long game and make money that way. Because it would help stabilize the industry. It would help stuff still be sold and people can enjoy it without, breaking the bank. And artists can continue to keep, free signatures if they want free signatures. Because that's another thing too. We want to do, a lot of us like doing free signatures, but when people start putting us on their websites, oh, look, William Russell's going to be at MegaCon. His signature fee is $10. And I know that because I've seen it on their websites for these people who go to cons to get stuff signed for people. I don't charge for signatures at the show, but yet they're telling fans I charge $10. Now, do I believe they should get a fee for running around and standing in lines? Sure. It's called, I call it lazy tax or convenience tax. Yes, they should. They're the ones standing in lines. They're the ones running around collecting these autographs for you guys that can't be at that show. So there should be a fee. But, in that scenario, they could be going $5 instead of 10. But they're saying 10 because the majority of artists charge $10 for signatures. They upcharge you on the book. So a lot of these guys will sell you, the $30 exclusive, and then they'll go pay the artist $10 to sign the book if the artist is charging a fee. Some artists don't charge a signature fee. Some artists charge $5. Some charge tens. So yeah, that's what I would like to see. I would rather see them be a little bit more mindful about the long game. Let's not jump these prices way up and they're therefore forcing everyone else to raise their prices because they get sick of seeing someone else make money off their hard work. So yeah, that's that. Like I said, that's what I'd like to see. I don't hate them or anything like that. Like I said, they provide a very good, they provide a very good service to you guys, and they provide a really fun, not fun. I'm sorry. They provide that for you guys. They give you a service for something that you couldn't do. For some reason you couldn't be at that show. You couldn't travel. So they're running around getting all this stuff signed for you guys. So they provide a valuable service. They really do. And then, like I said, their Whatnot channels and their eBay lives and stuff like that, help get, up and coming artists in front of more people. They help get other exclusives in front of other people. So they do provide a really good service. And I'm friends with a lot of flippers. Now, a lot of the flippers and resellers that I'm friends with, they kind of do it the right way. If they get a commission, if they buy a book, if they get a $30 exclusive, they're selling it for $40. If they get a $200 commission, they're selling it for $250. And a lot of times we'll even work with them. Like I've got whatnot sellers that I'm friends with, who will come to my table at shows, and they'll want to buy four or five of my commissions that I have pre-done for the show to sell on their whatnot. So I'm selling them for $200 a pop at my table, but they want to buy 5 different ones. So I'll sell them to them for $150 a piece. Then they'll turn around and go put them on their whatnot show for $200. So the fans are still getting them for the price I would have normally charged. But that flipper, that reseller, that whatnot seller or eBay live seller, now they're putting my product in front of people that maybe don't know who I am. Or they come to my table, like here, like case in point, my England buddies from the guys who come in from England every year to see me at New York or either MegaCon. They'll come to my table, they'll buy 50 of my exclusives signed by me. So I give them free signatures, and I sell my exclusives at my table at shows for 20 a pop. As long as it's not Do You Poo or Hardly Thin. All my regular exclusives, Image Comics, Dynamite, indie books, Psycho Style, so on, I'm selling them for $20 a piece at my table at the show. They want to buy 50 copies of my exclusives, so I'll sell it to them for $15 a piece. They'll take them back home and they'll sell them for $25 a piece, or $30. That's more than reasonable for American side exclusives, selling them in Europe. So we'll work with people, but sadly there's some people that they'll want you to give them a discount. They want that $200 commission for $150, but then they want to go sell it for $300. See what I mean? And then we see that happen a few times. And now the next thing you know, the artist is selling $300 commissions because people have been consistently buying it for $300 on whatnot and eBay. So you can't blame artists, they're just adjusting to what they're seeing, because at the end of the day, I don't give a shit how much you're running around at a show grabbing stuff. We're the ones that still sit down for 2 hours and do the artwork, or sit down for the hour to do a headshot, or sit down, for the 8 hours to do a published cover piece. So we're the ones still doing that work. So when you sit down and you spend, a couple of hours drawing a $200 commission and you see it being sold for $500 or $600, it kind of hurts you a little. But like I said, there are a good bit of resellers out there, a good bit of flippers that they do it the right way. No problem, sweetie. Yeah, I'm about to get off here. I just want to kind of work on that a little bit and chat with you guys some. I hadn't done a live sketch in a while, doing some color and stuff. So yeah, but there's nothing you can do about it. People see dollar bills, man, and they got to max that nickel and dime side of it as much as they can, because they scared it's going to go away. So they maximize everything. And there's a lot of artists that do that too, because in the art industry, unless you're really grinding it out like the way some of us do, you might be hot one minute and cold the next. You might be selling properly at one moment and then you can't give shit away. It can happen. So a lot of artists kind of get scared on that, and they start nickel and dime and everything, especially once they start getting a little fame under them. They kind of start getting that "don't you know who I am" mentality. And now you're getting, well, here's my price for my first name, and here's my price if you'd like to have my second, my last name added to the signature, and here's my overinflated price for a W bat on your book, calling it a remark, and here's my $100 price for this, rainbow signature. So you end up with that silly shit because people start nickel and diming. I've learned in my personal experience, if you're doing enough business, you don't got a nickel and dime. If you're creating a good enough fan base, you don't have to nickel and dime. If you're treating fans the way they should be treated, you don't have to nickel and dime to offset your lack of sales on everything else. Knock on wood, I do tons of covers. My IPs are successful. My commission list fills up every time I open it, and I only open it twice a year. So, if you're doing it the right way, you don't have to nickel and dime people. So, maybe if you're having to nickel and dime, maybe you need to start working harder on the other stuff and offset it that way. But anyway, that's right. Sketch lines are fun. I do need to do, and if we luck up and we get to buy this home, I'll have the space to do, so she and I both can have a proper office, because I'll have, an office that's strictly business. So like I'll have my statue room where all that is and where my art table is, but I'll have an office where I can do these live podcasts for you guys. And, not to mention she'll be able to join me too, because we'll be able to set up her desk and her cameras, and she'll be able to hang out with me on these lives along with, doing these things. Right now, I'm just super limited on space. That's why the cameras are all kind of weird. I just hooked that up the best I could to do an overview. We'll do it proper whenever we get into a bigger space. But anyway, I'm going to get off here. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I always enjoy chatting with you guys. I've already went over updates and stuff yesterday, so I'm not going to regurgitate any of that. Tune in tomorrow night. We're just going to chat live. I don't know if Chris is going to be able to join us. He works a lot of late hours now with his new job. Lori will probably be here, I'm sure. Chris will hopefully be able to jump in. But we're just going to kind of casually chit chat and talk about stuff. And then of course we're booked for next week and the week after, and I believe the week after that, for live guests on the podcast. Yeah, Jim, it's $10 shipping on that, so $90. Yeah, just send it to my PayPal. I'll get it in the mail to you tomorrow. And I appreciate it, Jim. Not many people buy Superman anymore. I knew that was a kind of a risky one to draw tonight anyway. Nobody ever asked for the big boy in blue. So that's one of the reasons I kind of, wanted to draw him. I haven't gotten to draw him in a while. But yeah, you too, Heather. Everybody have a great night. Tune in tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Central. Hang out with us. Don't forget. Oh, I need to make a post about that. Friday night, 7 p.m. Central. I will be doing not a big sale, but I'll be doing a rare sale. As you guys know, the other day I went in there and cleaned out a closet and pulled out all my few extra copies I had of all the Psycho Sal Kickstarter only exclusives. And if you remember on that show the other night, I said that I'm missing a box, that there was another box that had foils and medals and blood medals and blood foils and the one-of-one embossed medals, etc. in it. Well, I finally found that box after I cleaned out another closet. So I found that one. I'm going to go live Friday night. We're going to sell off those. So make sure you show up for that, because those are rare as hell. Pretty much, yep, this Friday. Everything in that little short box is limited to one-of-one on the embossed blood medals. And then the other foils and blood foils and medals are less than 10 in the world. The medals are less than 5. The foils are less than 10. So that type of rare. So make sure you show up, because I'm going to cut them loose for a really good price. I've never sold my extras I've had. And the reason, in case somebody's wondering why I had extras, anytime I did a Kickstarter, every single cover on that Kickstarter, I'd order like 2 or 3 extras of each one, for foils, metals, etc., in case we had any losses or any damages. I'd have a copy to replace somebody's book. And then after a few months of that book being out and we didn't have anybody claiming any damages or losses, then I would stick those in my closet. And so I never went live and sold them. Most people never even seen them. So I went live the other day and we got rid of a lot of the regular covers. And then I found my short box of foils, metals, etc. Yep, this Friday night. But anyway, I'm going to get off here. You guys have a great night. Thank you again for hanging out. Congrats to Mr. Jim for winning the Superman torso sketch. But you guys have a wonderful night. I love you. Be good. Talk to you later, man.